What up, snitches? I'm the Animaniac, and I've returned to the Mukpuddy animated universe to inspect their latest creation, The Adventures of Tumeke Space. A sci-fi adventure comedy about the titular character, a rogue who roams the universe protecting the galaxy from the Pink Menace and whoever he serves. I'll get into details about them later on. Before I do, if you guys ever want to be the first to know when a new video will be up, just ring that bell after you subscribe. And if you want to see reviews early, subscribe to me on BitChute. Now, Tumeke began life as a show the Barefoot Bandits would watch back in 2016. At its best, it served as a harmless space filler for the episode it was in. At its worst, it gave away too much too soon. Looking at you, vote for Rex and Perfectly Suited. You two could have been a little better without that segment, along with some other things to make you as good as you should have been. He gets an episode centered around him in the Season 1 finale, Never Tumeke, where he appears as an older, washed-up actor who ends up fighting an alien in a recreation of the Orange Ruffy the Bandits and Mr. Slab put together. I miss him already. The episode could have been more exciting if we saw more of the space fight instead of the Time Dentist throwing shade at everyone on Naro, on top of Tumeke Space. Aside from that, it was as good as I could have expected from Mukpuddy at that point. And then there was the ending, where Tumeke goes off into space in the Orange Ruffy to save the Time Dentist, who gets abducted by that same alien. That would have been an awesome ending if this little nugget of info wasn't revealed earlier.
Well, that'll probably be the lack of oxygen. There's only enough for a 20-minute adventure.
Tumeke and the Bandits were in the Orange Ruffy to learn this, and those kids let him go into space to save the Time Dentist. Meaning, the Barefoot Bandits let their hero go off to his death. I bet Sebastian is smiling smugly about that, and the Time Dentist will be too before the alien performs his experiments. Don't get too excited, Gremlin I have complicated feelings about. I haven't forgotten about Too Much Tumeke, the episode that's pretty much the backdoor pilot for this series, where he goes to liberate a planet from a tyrant. The episode by itself was fine. The segments where Sebastian cuts the power to the bandits' treehouse to ruin their fun, I could have done without. It just seemed to pad out the episode, along with them having that long tracking shot of the Orange Ruffy before the Tumeke Space title comes in, and stretching out the credits at the end. The story had sprinkles of excitement with Wahine Troubles, and it showed off more breathtaking compositing when Junior 572 drove the Orange Ruffy to free Tumeke and Wahine. But what it had going for it wasn't enough for me to see this guy in his own show. But that was 4 years ago, and back when they had 20 people working there. Because of the history I have with Mukpuddy's cartoons... yeah, okay. Blah! Yay! I decided to be and remain optimistic in the lead up to this series. Everybody who voiced the four main characters has come back to reprise their roles. Glenn Paul Warrer as Tumeke, Kura Forrester as Wahine Troubles, Josh Thompson as Junior 572, and Ryan Cooper as the Pink Menace. Oh yeah, did I forget to mention that? Cooper has been doing voices for the studio ever since they got their foot in the door in 2006. He's to Mukpuddy what Mel Blanc was to Looney Tunes. The other characters he played recently are Bessie from the Barefoot Bandits, the nefarious Nab and Tobias from Quimbo's Quest, the Great Eraser from The Drawing Show, that stupid tornado from Tales of Nai, and Tony from Jandalburn. Tumeke Space, which translates to Awesome Space, is a fun-loving space rogue who is willing to help either his friends or anyone else who's in distress from people like the Pink Menace. And Wahine Troubles, which translates to Girl Troubles, is a tough, no-nonsense warrior who rolls her eyes at feeling like she has to save Tumeke and is repulsed by his advances or any comments he makes that she feels like he isn't giving her her due praise. The approach Mukpuddy took with this dynamic felt like, what else can you do with this bit at this point? Plus, I don't enjoy seeing these two together, as Tumeke clearly doesn't care that she isn't interested in him in that way. And out of these two I'd trust with my life, Wahine Troubles would be the one, but I imagine she wouldn't be very fun to hang out with. Tumeke would be exciting to be with, but that's why I wouldn't trust him for protection. and given what I just said about these two, I don't think they'd want to hang out with me. Before I cover the main event of villains, let's get these two out of the way. Ryan Cooper and Joshua Marchant, hey Josh, play two crooks who steal anything for themselves, and it's implied that they're in a relationship, and that's all I will say about that. These two are often seen as a nuisance to our heroes, as what they do doesn't have a lot of screen time devoted to it, and they eventually end up easily taken care of by our heroes. The Pink Menace is a subordinate of the Queen and her moral supremacy, and Tumeke Space's enemy. Before this show even premiered, he joins the nefarious Nab in the villains even a joke villain can't take seriously club. But I like how they've beaten me to it, and they're trying to portray him as someone to hate by making him have moments where he's a brat. That would make a villain hateable, but I don't enjoy hating him, nor does it feel satisfying when he gets his comeuppance. Now, the moment I heard colonization, the Queen, and moral supremacy, I immediately put together that this series is referencing the British colonizers that came to New Zealand 200 years ago. That, and in episode 3, when Jimmy's mobile garage is stolen by the scabs who are posing as towies, they take the garage that still has Jimmy inside to an impound lot, and the only guard they have there looks like the ones you see outside of Buckingham Palace. If you know at least a little bit about New Zealand history, you would come to the same conclusion I did. The characters are and the performances are decent, but no particular one stuck out to me, really. This is Mukpuddy's first attempt at a serialized story. Well, their first since Crumbs. Anything after that, they would stick to the episodic format, maybe mixing the two like many other cartoons did in the last decade. Their attempt here is okay, except for when it gets dumb, which I'll get to later on. The big plot of this show so far is Tumeke and his friends are looking for his granddad before the Pink Menace and the Queen's forces can. In the process of them trying to find Tumeke's granddad, them planting the eventual answers to how they can find him this season were decent. It just wasn't something I'd appreciate more than how Earthworm Jim did it, where the solution was so stupid, because it played into its surreal sense of humor, that it would come as a surprise when it would be the key to his victories. The Queen is looking for him because he turned on her for reasons we'll learn later on, if Tumeke gets picked up for another season. All we know now is that it's because she and her forces are oppressive. Tumeke and his friends are looking for him, so they'll have more strength for their fight against the Queen and her moral supremacy. Now, this next part is about how stupid the ending is. So if you don't want to be spoiled, skip to here to carry on with the rest of the review. In the season finale, Tumeke was chasing after the Queen to get the last piece of the puzzle they have, which has a map drawn on it with coordinates to Rahinga's last known whereabouts. He stops to help Wahine get free from the clutches of a hired gun named the Blue Scourge, whose ship was blown up by the Pink Menace after blowing up Jimmy's ship, supposedly killing him. Okay, so first of all, Tumeke and his friends have a map that's complete enough for them to go out and find Rahinga without the final piece. And even if they did get the piece, Wahine points out in a scene at the beginning of the episode that his last known location has tons of planets to search, meaning that them taking the fight to the Queen for the final piece is pointless. Second, the Blue Scourge showing up to hold Wahine hostage, making Tumeke allow the Queen to escape, actually makes the last scene with him blowing up Jimmy's ship before his gets blown up by the Pink Menace have no impact and confusing. Because if the Blue Scourge survived being blown up, then doesn't that mean Jimmy survived too? And judging by Tumeke's speech about starting his own journey, it sounds like they might be putting that plot on the back burner to indulge in something else that doesn't get them closer to Tumeke's dad. This season ended in a way that simply didn't need to. In the laughs department, there were only a handful of real laughs this season. The tour guide's mental breakdown, Tumeke's teapot puns, he and the Pink Menace throwing dip at each other, Wahine talking about beating up the scabs, and Princess Snub's introduction, as the rest of the humor consists of character interactions that I'm certain were supposed to be funny, but aren't, routines based on children's books, because it was so good the last time they did it, and other jokes that at this point were either tired, boring, or stupid. I'm pretty sure I laughed more watching Quimbo. Now among all these issues is the one thing Mukpuddy got better at: how their shows look. It being a sci-fi adventure, Mukpuddy have more leeway to be more imaginative with the locations our heroes visit than in Quimbo's quest, and I can safely say they deliver. The vibrant colors and Dr. Seuss-inspired look of Valora, the incredibly dirty look of Inorganica, and the grotesque Bogroid are just some of the visual delights Mukpuddy have waiting for you here. Some of the characters follow the environments and how imaginative they can be, on top of their usual cuteness and detail, resulting in the trade-off being the mechanical way they're animated. That naturally has an effect on how they handle the action sequences. Except for the CG and compositing during the vehicle chases, they're on point in that department by now. There are other times they've found a visually appealing workaround. During the fight scenes, they transition to a silhouette style. This is a smart choice for the studio as it disguises their limitations in that department, and it looks great in execution. Tumeke and his friends sport the immaculate visuals expected from Mukpuddy, the storytelling is a step better than the Barefoot Bandits, and the characters are okay, but it doesn't swerve out of the way of its stupid ending, and the humor is more miss than hit. So, to be expected from a Mukpuddy show right now. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment your own thoughts on the show if you've seen it below. If you want to stay updated on future videos and see some cool artwork, be sure to follow me on Parler, Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, and DeviantArt, and be sure to subscribe to my backup channel over on BitChute. The links are in the description. And if you want to be the first to know when a new video will be up, just ring that bell after you subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.